The elements are a big factor in North Dakota because the elements are North Dakota.
Man, listen to that wind now. It sounds like a train coming through here. It was super cool, and then the weather tried to kill us.
I think the thing about goose hunting is it's really the game to get these geese to finish.
We all only have so many days, on this earth.
You're outside, you see in the world wake up in the morning.
There's only so many days you get to really just take in and enjoy the beauty of creation.
Seeing those enormous birds come into your spread with the feet down, and
without conservation, it's not sustainable.
A lot of people have asked me over time why do I love duck hunting more than I love the others? And for me, it's like the dance. You're calling to try and see if they'll come dance with you.
We're a bunch of determined individuals, and we push for wetland conservation. It is our passion.
Well done! Right. To see them cut, dip, and weave.
Let's go!
It was like the epitome of puddle of hunting.
To watch the birds work is the real objective of the hunt.
Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting.
Welcome again to DUTV. I'm Betsy Newble. DUTV relies upon some great sponsors to provide us with the quality equipment we need to make this one of the best shows in outdoor television. One of these sponsors is Drake Waterfowl, also a DU proud partner. We join co-hosts Doug Larson and Drake representatives John Woodard and Justin Carpenter for some exciting late season Canada goose hunting in North Dakota. Temps are dropping, but the birds are there and the action is hot. Right now on DUTV.
Here in central North Dakota, Lake Sakakawea and the Missouri are really the tip of the spear for migrating waterfowl, and actually it's kind of shocking to see how many ducks and geese are still here, even though we're in the middle of the late season deep freeze. It's going to take a lot of snow to get these birds to move along, but there's so much agriculture next to all this big water that these birds will hang on up here as long as they possibly can.
I come up to North Dakota every year, but it's usually early in the season, and I've never been to North Dakota and hunted waterfowl, particularly geese, in December.
We're going to play a little chess with late season geese. I think earlier in the season it's checkers, but this time of the year, off the Missouri and off Sakakawea, these geese have been around a little bit, but we got a storm coming tonight or tomorrow, so I think the birds are going to have to come out and do a little feeding, and we'll be here waiting.
Chasing Canada geese is so much fun, and there's a lot of work. There's a lot of time behind the steering wheel, trying to find where the birds are feeding, a lot of effort in big spreads and putting out lots of decoys. And
there's 2 in the decoys. We just put 2 right here. I have to give a big shout out to Matt Peel and Dirty Bird Outfitters. These guys really know what they're doing. They spent a lot of windshield time and had this thing scouted out and really found us some great birds and put us on some great hunts. We work little groups, we work big groups that had giant Canadas and little geese mixed in. There was just a little bit of everything, but a steady flow.
It's so cool watching those huge birds cup their wings and drop out of the sky with their feet down.
Got 'em!
And coming straight into the decoys.
This week, I think a couple of our hunts were 22, 25 degrees and blowing 25 miles an hour. Being in a blind with wind blocker panels is a difference between, being able to be out here and hunt instead of hiding in the truck.
The excitement and the enjoyment of being out there in the field is being able to watch them come into the decoy spread. And if you can't watch those birds come in, you're missing a huge part of waterfowl hunting. And
with the introduction of the tops on our blind systems, it really affords, especially a kid, an opportunity to
This is fixing to get really ugly.
really watch those birds work, see how they respond to the calling, watch them from the time they start working to the time they put their feet down and land in the decoys.
Get them, guys! Right here on the left, get ready, guys.
Canada geese, they're a perfect example of the success that DU's had at protecting the resource. For years, there were either no seasons or very limited seasons. You know, now Canada geese are everywhere. They're in the parks and the golf courses in your backyard, and you know, we're up here and with an 8 bird per person limit is a perfect example of all of the efforts that went into protecting that resource.
Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting. Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Habitat, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited. Browning Firearms, the best there is. Native Nurseries, hand-selected, hand-grown plants for wildlife. Higdon Outdoors, quality, customer service, innovation, that's Higdon. And Ducks Unlimited's 85th anniversary, celebrating 85 years as North America's leader in wetlands conservation.
It's really always fun to hunt with guys in the industry who deal with the camouflage and deal with the zippers and the clothing and the waders and all the stuff that goes on with waterfowling every day. They get it. Like artists, I think innovators see things with a different eye. You know, I see a jacket and they see a piece of clothing or an article of clothing could do more for you. And it's fascinating to spend time with these guys and hear about that process.
I was a customer of Drake long before I was an employee of Drake. Oddly enough, ended up getting an opportunity to work at Drake based off of having duck hunting listed as a hobby on my LinkedIn page. Having the opportunity to marry up something that I was passionate with, it was a hobby, with how I make a living was, for the first year or two, it was really kind of surreal to kind of say, hey, this is what I get to get up and do every morning.
I'm passionate about outfitting the waterfowl hunter particularly because that's what my passion is. My mind, I'm naturally trying to innovate and think about ways to improve the product.
It's a job. It is a business. You know, I think the people that make it in this industry are the people that understand and learn how to balance those two things out. But at its very core, you know, don't lose sight of what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing, which is to have fun. Did we do right?
They were in the hole, as they say. Holy man.
And for me, it's really exciting to be able to bring those ideas to life and then see it in the field the next year.
Yeah, Justin and his guys done a great job of making some of these products that are, you know, built for versatility. Really makes the hunt more enjoyable and we can focus on what's important.
Well, it's just the great thing about duck and goose hunting. It's just, you know, part of it is that, you know, we're probably the biggest gear buyers of anybody in the outdoors. I mean, you know, if you're going to bow hunt for deer, you need a deer stand and a bow. And, you know, it seems like every duck and goose hunt, you've got a laundry list of stuff you have to have, from hundreds of decoys to blinds, trailers to put it all in, quads to get it there. You know, you name it. There's just no end to the gear that waterfowlers need. You have the right stuff.
Absolutely.
You're comfortable and warm, and you can stay out there. And if you can manage that, you know, be comfortable that last hour, that sometimes is the hour that makes the difference, right?
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
Down goes Frazier.
Well, that's fun.
You know, it's once in a while, everything is completely right. And it's rarer, I think it's rarer than you think it is in terms of like a good blind, a good hide, the decoys are right, the wind is right, the whole thing is right. And, you know, obviously helps to have good company, people who can shoot a little bit. You couldn't ask for more this morning.
Absolutely. Good time.
Yeah, man.
Not bailing out. That head cover over the top of lines is pretty crucial. It's working out really well. It's been a good morning. I love it. I love big Canada geese.
Drought. That's a tough word to hear when your mission is waterfowl and wetlands conservation. But it's important to remember that dry conditions from lack of rain and snowfall are a natural occurrence and an integral part of wetlands health. The last time many of us witnessed widespread and severe drought on the prairies was the late 1980s to early 1990s. Waterfowl seasons and bag limits were restricted, with some flyways permitted only 30 days in a 3-duck limit. However, rains returned, and the waterfowl populations boomed, soon leading to liberal regulations that we've enjoyed for nearly 25 years. Drying conditions are necessary to rejuvenate stagnant wetlands. Although drought is difficult for waterfowlers to endure, ducks and geese have adapted to these conditions for over thousands of years. DU's conservation work reflects this by conserving an abundance of wetland basins capable of refilling once waters return. If prairie landscapes remain healthy, prairie nesting ducks and geese will rebound. To find out more about drought and its effect on wetlands throughout North America, please visit ducks.org.
DU Insights is brought to you by Mossy Oak Properties. Find your favorite place at mossyoakproperties.com.
The weather this week has been something that, being a southern boy, I'm not very accustomed to dealing with.
We're a long way from Memphis.
Today was entirely different than yesterday. We got, a few inches of snow last night, and the temperatures had really fallen. The wind was pretty brutal today.
We'll have to call Rachel on the way back and tell her that you're thinking about moving here.
Yeah, my wife that grew up in New Orleans is she's gonna be big no on this one, dog.
Get their minds right and shoot some birds.
Cold.
Get in, get out.
Can you imagine, like, these poor Indians packing their across this country on their backs, dragging sleds and stuff? Like, okay, it sucks now, let's go to Kansas.
Yeah, we were talking about Lewis and Clark. It was like, they got to a certain point. It was like, I don't know if it was Lewis to Clark or Clark to Lewis, but what have we done here?
Well, and
You couldn't hide behind a barn. Huh?
well, it could die pretty fast. Of course, there was no antibiotics, so if you got a cold, you were dead.
Yeah.
Basically.
Just leave him there.
Enjoy your pneumonia.
If it gets this cold, some days those geese will just not fly. If they know there's a real serious single-digit cold coming, they'll sit, and they may not fly for 2 or 3 days. And we caught this trip just right on the front edge of a really tough cold front.
A little slow going at first, but when they started, they did not stop, and it was one group after another.
They got out fast. Okay, we just learned our lesson on that. Holy Moses.
Today was a real challenge with that wind. We had about a 22, 25 mile an hour crossing wind with gusts up to 50.
At 10 or 15 yards, you wonder how on earth can you possibly miss a goose? It's seemingly impossible for those of us who've done it hundreds of times, literally. Man, we struggled. Figured out that, even if the birds were, point blank in the hole, you had to be 4 or 5 feet ahead of them to allow for the wind drift to be able to get these birds on the ground.
That was a cool group to watch.
This is pretty according to Hoyle right here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been a long-time Drake user. I've been a long-time Drake fanboy. It's been fun to follow Drake's progress. They've really gone from a duck hunting specialty company to a much broader hunting company, but deeply tied to conservation.
And when I think of Drake Waterfowl, I immediately think of Ducks Unlimited and their efforts in conservation.
I think what started off as maybe a sponsorship is more what we look at now as a relationship, and we're partners in this together.
We're here because of nature and because of ducks and geese, but if we don't protect the resource and help to improve habitat, then we're not going to have ducks in the fall.
And then we feel that our part is having those products to really turn this into that family atmosphere, to get the whole family in the field, to make those memories.
Taking, something like, the additional bells and whistles and pockets on the men's jacket, kid wants to look like dad or kid wants to look like mom, no differentiation to say, oh, this is a jacket for a youth hunter, for a female hunter, it's for a hunter, right? It's just a sizing difference.
Yep.
The more people we get into the field, the more conservationists we bring to the sport.
The partnership between Ducks Unlimited and Drake is more than just a partnership, more than just a relationship. It's an investment in our future. It's an investment in the future of being able to afford youth and future generations the opportunity to enjoy what we've been able to enjoy this week here.
A lot of people struggle with crossing targets, and most crossers are missed not by inches, but by feet behind. It's usually not a problem of not enough lead, it's a problem of stopping the gun and worrying too much about lead. What you want to do when you shoot a crosser is keep your eye focused on the bird, let the muzzle go where it needs to go, and don't think of lead in terms of feet and inches. Think of it in terms of some, more, or if the bird's way out there, a lot of lead. Because you've got a wide pattern that gives you some margin for error. So all you need to do is keep your eye on the bird, let your hands go, and take the gun where it needs to go. There's 3 ways to shoot a bird. You can swing behind it if it's crossing, come through it, shoot as you pass the beak. You can mount on the beak and pull away from it. You can start the gun in front of it and maintain that lead, but all 3 of those methods depend on keeping your eye on the target and not worrying about how much you're leading the bird. If you do that, those misses that are feet behind will turn into solid hits on the bird.
Ducks Unlimited's Guns and Gear is brought to you by Tetra Hearing, built for hunters by hunters. Calls, wings, or triggers, hear the hunt like never before. DUTV is powered by Browning Ammunition, the best there is. Biologic, scientifically proven wildlife products. Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. Tetra Hearing, more than hearing protection, it's hearing perfection. Mossy Oak Properties, America's land specialist. Rolling Thunder Game Calls, the sound of a new generation. Closed captioning for Ducks Unlimited Television is brought to you by Mossy Oak Bottomland, the official timber pattern of Ducks Unlimited.
My name is Spence Halford. This is my buddy Drake Levy, and we're with Rolling Thunder Game Calls. You know, Drake, one of the things I think we do really well at Rolling Thunder is we build loud duck calls.
Absolutely. The best thing about building a loud duck call is makes running traffic 10 times as easy,
How would you go about utilizing a loud duck call if you were trying to run traffic on flight ducks?
If I'm trafficking ducks, I like to hit them hard, lead on them, give them a little gas.
Just trying to get their attention.
Absolutely.
Show us what that would sound like. That's loud.
It is loud.
Maybe the best thing about running traffic is that you don't have to be on the X. You can be between where they're roosted and where they want to be and hunt that spot over and over.
I agree.
So, check us out at your local sporting goods store and on the internet, rollingthundergamecalls.com. If your local sporting goods store is not carrying Rolling Thunder, please ask them to.
Duck Talk with Spence Halford is powered by Rolling Thunder Game Calls, the sound of a new generation.
Working in this industry, we don't sell products necessarily just for a particular discipline, be it waterfowl hunting, be it whitetail hunting. We sell a lifestyle. Waterfowling is a very social sport. It's not a solitary sport like turkey hunting, deer hunting, where you're sitting in a blind by yourself.
I always tell people, like, most of where we hunt the ducks in Argentina looks like Nebraska.
What was that one kind of shoveler?
Red shovelers.
Yeah, I mean, I still got a ways to go to kill my global ram slam.
Global ram slam.
That was for you, Eddie Wall.
The poor shoveler.
The thing is like in our pro staff group, we got like 1,500 people in there, and then we just started jokingly saying, "Oh, rams, calling shovelers rams." Now you see just random people on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
rams.
It's become
it's a thing. And I was like, Eddie, you
created
something here.
A culture.
Yeah. You're there with your buddies. Camaraderie is a huge part, a huge aspect of the sport, and I think what really attracts a lot of people to the sport.
Kill them three, guys.
We had
Kill
to
them
work
three.
pretty hard to get those birds in tight and be able to get some good clean shots.
We had a very successful hunt, working the Canada geese, and then one of the guys said that they had found a duck feed, and
we were set up in a wheat field that was short of a cut cornfield, and the ducks wanted to be in this corn, and they were just running traffic between the lake and the corn.
We are not on the X, but we are very close to it. Like on the Y.
We got set up in that blind, and from the moment we started, we had ducks flying overhead.
It's like it is a stunning display.
Found myself just sitting there and watching, and just was in awe of how many birds we saw. And it's because of the efforts that Ducks Unlimited is putting forth to provide habitat.
Oh, it's about to happen right here.
And at Drake, we are proud as a brand to be a part of that effort.
Here's where I think the rubber meets the road. If you're serious about spending time in the outdoors and you value that time more than anything, like I do and like a lot of serious sports people do, then it's worth making the investment in products that are specific to the sport. You know, even the guys that just hunt weekends, it's worth having a great coat that's going to keep you dry so you can be out in that weather long enough to get what you came for.
I've seen crazy good hunts, but I have never seen a better display in my life of mountains.
That was a spectacle.
Yeah, a real spectacle.
If you have the product that helps you do that, you can be out there making memories with your friends and making memories with your children and your family.
We all only have so many days, you know, on this earth, and there's
good shot!
only so many sunrises you get to see. There's only so many days you get to really just be outdoors and really just take in and enjoy the beauty of creation. And you know, without conservation, you know, that's not sustainable.
What a fantastic hunt, one of our personal favorites with our title sponsor. Goes to show you that birds can and will adapt to cold conditions when they have food and open water within easy reach. Special thanks to Matt Field and Dirty Bird Outfitters for showing everyone an incredible time. See you next week on DUTV.
Next week on DUTV, we'll go bone fishing. We'll be in the tropics.
In our short pants.
Because this is a little more than we bargained for.
And cut.